Did anyone really expect this? Brazil's latest squad announcement has left fans in absolute shock. Stars who were almost certain to make the cut have been left out, while others, barely mentioned in pre-squad predictions, are suddenly in. Carlo Ancelotti, the man in charge of the Seleção, has stunned the football world once again. Is this his boldest experiment yet, or has he truly found his perfect 26? Let's dive deep into the most surprising and talked about Brazilian squad in years. When it comes to Brazil, one thing has always been true. Talent has never been in short supply. From Pelé to Ronaldo, Ronaldinho to Neymar, the country has always produced world-class players in abundance. But that abundance also creates problems, because when you have too much choice, you also invite debate, controversy, and shock. And this time, under the legendary Carlo Ancelotti, Brazil's 26-man squad is making headlines not for who got in, but for who was left out. Many assumed the Italian manager would keep it safe, but Ancelotti seems determined to challenge expectations. Whether this squad is a clever experiment or his genuine belief in a new generation of players is something only he knows. What's certain is that this announcement has sparked conversation everywhere, from the streets of Rio to football forums across Europe. Let's start with the goalkeepers. Here, Ancelotti surprised fewer people. He stuck with the same 3 shot stoppers from Brazil's previous outings. On the surface, that looks safe, even boring. But fans were hoping for change, especially after the poor performances from Matos. Many expected to see a new name between the posts, perhaps Luís Júnior Brazil, or another fresh face. Instead, Ancelotti kept faith in his existing trio. It's not the biggest shock of the squad, but it certainly wasn't the exciting shakeup supporters were hoping for. For a team aiming to dominate on the world stage, some say this decision feels too conservative. Things get much more interesting in defense. Everyone knew Real Madrid's Eder Militão would miss out due to injury, and it was widely expected that Arsenal's Gabriel Magalhães would return after recovering. No surprises there. Alongside him, PSG captain Marquinhos and Lille's Alexandro Ribeiro were also predictable picks. Both performed well in recent games, delivering clean sheets and showing strong leadership at the back. But then came the unexpected. Many believed young Beraldo would be called up, or perhaps Flamengo's Leo Ortiz. Instead, Ancelotti handed a spot to Fabricio Bruno, a name that shocked many observers. Was this a bold scouting decision, or simply a gamble? At left back, the drama continued. Alexandro was always likely to be included, especially after solid performances in the last 2 matches. Fans were also expecting to see Carlos Augusto, or even Cruzeir's Kaique, who was part of the preliminary squad. Yet Ancelotti surprised everyone by naming Douglas Santos from Zenit St. Petersburg. For many Brazilian fans, Santos is almost an unfamiliar face, someone they rarely see because he plays his club football in Russia. But this is where Ancelotti's sharp eye for hidden talent comes into play. And if that wasn't enough, Caio Henrique, who had been overlooked for months, suddenly found his name on the final list. His inclusion was perhaps one of the biggest shocks in the defensive lineup. At right back, things were more predictable. Monaco's Vanderson made the cut, along with Roma's new signing Wesley and another familiar name, Wesley. This time, the coach has balanced the fullback positions differently. In the last squad, he brought 1 extra right back. This time, he's included 1 extra left back instead. Another clear sign that Ancelotti is willing to tinker and test. In midfield, the surprises kept coming. Of course, Casemiro remains the anchor. Despite ups and downs in his club form, his experience and leadership are simply too valuable to ignore. Newcastle's captain Bruno Guimarães also made the list, providing energy, vision, and composure in the middle of the park. But then came the exclusions. Flamengo's Gerson, often seen as a key figure for the national team, didn't make it. Neither did Andres Pereira, nor the once celebrated Felipe Coutinho. For some fans, these omissions signaled a changing of the guard. On the flip side, West Ham's Lucas Paquetá is back, much to the relief of supporters. His creativity and flair make him a natural fit for the squad. Alongside him is Chelsea's promising young midfielder Douglas Santos, a clear indication that Ancelotti is also investing in the future. One big disappointment, though, was the absence of Atalanta's Ederson. Many expected him to be rewarded for his consistent performances in Serie A. Instead, Ancelotti shocked everyone by calling up Joelinton. Yes, the same Joelinton who's had a mixed record with the national team. He's had chances before and struggled to deliver. Now he's being given another shot. Will this be his redemption story or another failed experiment? Only time will tell. And now the most talked about section, the attack. Brazil has always been famous for producing dazzling forwards, and the expectation was no different this time. But here's the twist. Neymar is not in the squad, nor are Real Madrid stars Vinícius Júnior, Rodrygo, or even Endrick. Yet despite these absences, the striker role is packed with firepower. Matheus Cunha has retained his place, and Richarlison, often considered one of Ancelotti's trusted soldiers, remains in the squad. Chelsea's João Pedro also features, offering another young option for Brazil's attack. One big name that really thrilled fans was Jorginho from the Brazilian league, who finished as the top scorer domestically. Ancelotti simply couldn't ignore him. His inclusion gives hope that domestic league stars can still break into the Seleção if they deliver consistently. On the wings, Arsenal's Gabriel Martinelli and Barcelona's Rafinha provide both pace and experience. They're joined by Estevan, a young talent many believe could be Brazil's next big star. But, as always, there are omissions. Savinho didn't make it, and neither did Antony. Perhaps the boldest surprise here is the call-up of Marseille winger Luís Henrique. He's not a name that was on many prediction lists, but Ancelotti clearly sees something in him. So what do we make of all this? Brazil's squad is nothing short of surprising. From Douglas Santos and Caio Henrique in defense to Joelinton in midfield and Luís Henrique up front, Ancelotti has made decisions that few could have predicted. Is this the work of a master strategist who sees what others cannot? Or is it the sign of a coach experimenting too much, too close to the biggest tournaments? One thing is clear, this squad will either silence critics with glory or spark even louder debate if results go wrong. For Brazilian fans, the excitement is undeniable. For global football lovers, the curiosity is irresistible. And for Carlo Ancelotti, the pressure is never been higher.